I know, but I work with a couple. There are a couple artists that I know
Hmm.
from India, so that I work with.
Hmm. What
So
kind of music do they play?
um, well, Pratik plays. He's pretty. I think he's pretty big over there.
Yeah, I know Pratik Kuhad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So him, written a couple things with him, and then oh my God, I just went blank. Um, big personality. He huge smile, always smiling. Um, what's his name? I just literally, I'm just gonna drive me insane. Oh wait, I can find him right here. Now I have to. So no matter what else we do, my friend, I have to find it. I
Sure.
gotta get his name. And he's such a wonderful human being. Such like a what a spirit this guy has. And I'm embarrassed. I've been kind of running a little ragged lately.
Uh-huh.
Um, wait, so Pratik, and oh, and then Zishan,
Okay.
and he Zishan B,
Okay.
and so he did a thing here in the States where like somehow he got on Jimmy Kimmel or G Fallon or something, and it really blew up his numbers.
Nice. Yeah,
So
Pratik
wonderful
Kuhad
guy.
is big in India.
Yeah, I know. Well, he came over here and we started working, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm way bigger over there." And I'm thinking, okay, well, what does that mean? And then I looked him up, and he's big
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I think it was a year before last that Barack Obama had him on his top
on his
10
playlist.
on his playlist. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really proud of him for it. Um, I'm a I'm a fan. I really like. We did a song, a couple. We did one that was a little bit out of his comfort zone. Uh, and he said he wanted to go that way, and I was really excited about it, but he hasn't done it because I think he's a little nervous about it.
Hmm.
You know, that's a fun thing I get to do as a songwriter. um, I get to wear other hats and I get to jump in other people's worlds, and that's really makes it wonderful. So
Amazing. But I must confess, I'm a big fan of your work. I've
thank
listened
you.
to you guys. I've listened to the whole damn mess, and I was really excited when I heard the single that you guys put out. Really
I'm going to
nice.
tell you that I am beside myself with excitement because the next couple of songs might even be like, I don't know about better, but they're like, what's great about what we're doing is we're figuring out really the core of what that band is and what it means,
Hmm.
um, and what our point of view is going to be, and we've really sort of honed that knife to do the thing, as opposed to what I get to do, and the other guys, the four of us do every day, is we write for other people and we help produce and we help shape other people's career, and that's fun. But to be able to really take out all the excess, so I get to write a song for Pratik that's a style that I would never want to sing for me, but it
Hmm.
had to come out of me. So I
Yeah.
get to get that out, and then I don't cloud. None of us have to cloud whole damn mess with anything else but music that serves this purpose. And it's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's the most beautiful and pure thing that I ever have been able to do.
Amazing. So, what is the genesis of the band? How did you come up with the name? It's very apt for the times we live in currently. So.
You know, you just nailed it, really. Like, we were really on the verge of that just a few years ago. in the last song on the or the song we sing last on our live show is a song called "That's Just How It Goes," and it starts out, "The whole world is upside down. I see it all around the globe. We're one and one make none. I'm walking sunset in my robe." It's this idea that the next line is, "You think that you know, you're not even close." And that's just how it goes. Like, I get chills thinking about the fact that we were right then sort of at the start of the Me Too movement. And it was just the race stuff was just bubbling. And all of that stuff was coming to a head. And these guys, the four of us, as I said, we write and produce so much. We said, we want to make music that makes you feel okay with just being alive. It doesn't have to make you feel like you're a baller. It doesn't have to make you feel sad. It doesn't have to even make you feel happy. It just has to give you a little tap on the shoulder and say, hey, you're alive. And that is enough. And so when we were making that first record, I said to the guys, man, we are in a whole damn mess. And I said, I want this band to be a reflection of where we're at.
Yeah.
And not just, it's not about being political or social or any of that. It's about, as human beings, we don't all have to look the same to hang out. So like, we're a band of misfits. We don't look the same. I don't look cool. I used to think I was cool when I've been gray since I'm 22 years old.
Mhm.
And there's something about like hitting 40 where you're like, oh my God, I can't be cool anymore because I'm not like, that is for young people. Well, I say, forget that. Like, I'm going to own the fact I always used to color my hair. And then I always speak the truth. And I really believe in authenticity. And there was something that was so hollow about me speaking on a high horse about authenticity while I was coloring my hair. By the way, there's nothing wrong with coloring your hair.
Yeah.
It's fun. Like if I did all different colors, it'd be different. But there's something about like, I just decided I'm going to own being older, but I'm still going to work harder than everybody half my age. I'm going to still believe that my best days are in front of me.
Yeah.
And that I can still write the best song of my life today. To me, the whole damn mess is that that's what life is. We get to, like, every day you get to choose to be involved in the chaos that we're in and come out winning, as opposed to like, oh man, it didn't work. You know?
Yeah. You know, that's the incredible thing, right? Sometimes it's hard to live for the moment when you think that things are not getting better, especially where we are in India now, right? With the second wave of COVID. But every time I listen to your song, I get lost in that song and it transports me to another place. Right? And it's so simple. There's a certain rawness about the song, and it's a very simple song, right? But it's just beautiful. So
thank you.
Yeah, it's a song that moves you. It's a song that that you can get lost in, and I've been listening to it on repeat. So it's an amazing song. How did you get the inspiration to write that song?
First of all, you need to, if you send me, I am Don at Miggs, MIGGS.com. You send me an email and promise me you won't post it somewhere. I'll send you the rest of the album. And I promise you, there's a feeling. I've never been so sure about something being wonderful. And I've never cared less if anyone else gets it. Because I know. So, do you know the group Plain White Tees?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay. So Tom is a friend of mine, and Tom, I remember saying to him a few years ago, why the hell don't I have a #1 hit? How is it you have a couple? And he's like, hey, you're only one hit away, which was a wonderful thing to say. It was like, wow. But he called me about 3 weeks ago and he said, hey, I've been meaning to tell you, you did it. I said, what
Yeah.
do you mean? He said, you wrote. He said, it doesn't matter if the rest of the world decides it's a hit because we're in a weird time where maybe it never will be because you don't look as cool as that guy or whatever the reason is. He said, but you wrote a hit song and you should be damn proud of it. So that was wonderful to hear. You asked how it came about. Greg, the fourth member, Greg Hansen, he was in the shower, he said, and he was just like, nothing in the world feels. He literally was having kind of a crappy day.
Mm-hmm.
And he recently was still like managing an apartment complex while he's trying to make music and do all this stuff. He has a fiance. They were living in this apartment, and he's like, man, I don't know if it could get any worse, but it's still pretty good. I'm still alive and all this stuff. So he started singing that hook, and he came into the studio and was like, I have this idea. And we just sort of all gravitated toward the celebrating normal,
Yeah.
celebrating the mundane, celebrating the fact that you have a job to do and you get up every day and you do it. And some days you love it, some days you don't.
Yeah.
But life is like a garden. And the idea of it being a garden is that it's the way I approach songwriting. I have to get in the garden every day. Some days I'm picking flowers, other
Mm-hmm.
days I'm pulling weeds. But the trick is to get up and get in the garden.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so nothing in the world is a celebration of like getting up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the amazing thing, right? It's almost like a celebration of your everyday struggle. It's quite incredible. The other couple of things about the song that struck me. One was, there's almost a hypnotic chant to it, right? To keep saying nothing.
It's the keyboard. And that keyboard keeps going ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 and doesn't change ever.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing I really liked was, I think I saw on your social media, it was almost like a campaign, right? So nothing in the world feels better than this hug. Nothing in the world feels better than being in the shower. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I thought that, I wanted to lean into that more, and we all wanted to do more of it, but we didn't want anyone to then think it was like we were making a cheesy version or a meme of the song. But
Yeah.
truthfully, I can't believe more people don't pick out like nothing in the world feels better than bump and putting it up. Like I would be, if it were not my song, I would be doing like drinking my favorite drink and go, nothing in the world feels better than this,
In fact, I was going to post something on my social media because I shoot concerts. I'm a photographer and I shoot concerts, and I miss being at a lot of those concerts. So I was going to take some of those pictures and caption it with "Nothing in the world feels better." So.
Oh, you should. Please do. I'd love to. My Instagram is don.miggs, and I'd love to follow you back. So follow me, please, and message me, and I'd love to follow you back.
I'll send you a DM. The other thing I wanted to ask you was, do you feel a certain responsibility as a musician given the state of the world? Do you feel responsible to write positive, uplifting songs?
I do right now. Listen, I'm a father of 2 boys. My wife and I have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old. And there's no better time to be alive than today.
Yeah.
Technology, even race and religion, it's still all better than it was 100 years ago.
Yeah, despite all the chaos, obviously. Yeah.
Having said that, it's easy for me to say, I am a white male who's wealthy. I have nothing to fight about. But you know what? If you're Indian in America, you're still treated poorly. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone has, and Black Lives Matter. Boy, we're not, women matter, minorities matter. If you're a gay man in this country, you're just starting to be able to not have to come out of a closet.
Yep.
Why the hell you'd have to come out of a closet for being the version of you are? Like, I don't understand it. Like, I don't get this desire to have to make somebody small to be big, so you can be big. I don't understand why anything about anybody else would ever matter. It doesn't compute in my head. And so I have friends like Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. Tom's job is to put his finger on your forehead and poke, right?
Yeah.
And I love him for that. Woody Guthrie, his job was to say, this land is your land. I feel like my job, because I can't have those conversations from a point of understanding, really understanding. I feel like my job is to try to even the playing field that I'm on. And if we can do that with the music, like the next single is, the next single is so wonderful. It's wait a minute. I'll even give you, can I give you a second of it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. More than a second, please.
All right. You hear this? Somebody else's dream makes me feel a little uneasy. I'm running out of time. Loving somebody else's lover, destined for someone other. Leave me on a dime. Then I got it. Then I'm burning through the deck, and I fold when I should hit. Like a ticket, I'm stuck in the machine. I know there's some big something. I know there's some big something. Waiting, 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 waiting. I know there's some big something. I know there's some big something waiting for me. Change it or leave the autopilot on. I can tell right from wrong. Turn darkness into light. Face it, life will get lived or wasted. Time is just what you make it. There's nowhere you can hide. Then I'm running up the hill, and my feet are standing still. So tell me, will it justify me? I know there's some big something. I know there's some big something. Waiting, 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 waiting. I said I know there's some big something. I know there's some big something waiting for me. Just need a little more patience. Just need a little more patience. Oh, I just need a little more patience. Just need a little more patience. Oh, I just need a little more patience. Just need a little more patience. I know there's some big something. I know there's some big something. Waiting, 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 waiting. I said I know there's some big something. I know there's some big something.
Oh, I love it. Thank you.
I don't know why I had the need to play that, so thank you. But it feels like that's the same thing. It's like change it or leave the autopilot on. Because
Yeah.
I can tell right from wrong, and you can turn darkness into light. Face it, life will get lived or wasted, and time is just what you make it. There's
Yeah.
nowhere you can hide. Like, that's what I feel our job is to tell those stories of like not telling you what to do, but giving you the option of being okay with yourself and the people around you.
That's beautiful. I love that there's so much positivity about your music and just how you write. It's fantastic.
Thank you. It feels like I took I took a long time sort of being like a lot of other people where you focus and you wallow in misery, and there's comfort in feeling bad, by the way. It
Absolutely.
feels good. It feels good to feel
To be
bad.
miserable, yeah.
But what you got to realize is that if in America, for me, I don't know how it is there, the average age of a man is 78. He will die by 78, and a woman by 79.
Mhm.
If you're telling me that I only have 78 summers and I've already used half of them, I don't have time
Absolutely.
for anything but the truth, because the truth never moves. I don't have time to hide behind religion, because the truth is still there. You can put money in front of it, beauty, religion, anything you want. The truth does not move. And so I feel like the whole damn mess is putting a bright light on just being your authentic self. And
Yeah.
maybe that's not cool. And maybe that won't translate. But it matters to me. And it matters to me that I can look at my kids and say I tried.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's amazing. Do you also do other work to kind of inspire kids and to shine a light for kids? To
I
kind of
used
follow
to.
their
I
path.
used to. Yeah, I used to go speak in schools when I was on tour. I would do that, and I loved doing it. I'd play a little guitar and then talk. Um, you know, I should do more of it, but I kind of I don't want to preach,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's a fine line. And I mean, you could tell me more than I could, like if I've gone too far, even here, like because I feel like sometimes I go too far with it.
No, I think
Um,
what is amazing is that I feel that you've gotten to a point where, like Tom said to you, that you're just happy doing what you're doing, and you're not worried about a number one hit or how many streams you've got on Spotify, but you're just happy doing what you're doing every day, and nothing in the world feels better than doing that. I think that's a great place to be in.
yeah,
And I
I
think
feel
if
like
you can put that message, I mean, if people, that is my takeaway from you talking to you and listening to your music.
well, can we get it? Can we get a million more of you in India to like it? And then I'd love to come play over there. I will tell you this. Um, I so love your culture. And I'm not just saying it, I so love your people have such a poise and grace. And there's like I've never met anyone that from there that hasn't felt like an old soul. I don't know what that is, but it's something, it's this, it's not even like humble, like the most arrogant I've ever met is Pratik. And he wasn't arrogant. He was quiet. I would say to him, I'd give him 1,000 ideas.
Yeah.
He's like, that's great. That's great. And I said, finally, I said, Pratik, you've got to help me out here. I never know what you actually like. Your face never changes. You're just always, I never see you. You don't look excited. You don't look like you don't like it. I have no idea what's going on with you.
Yeah.
There's like a grace and calm, which is, why is that?
I don't know. Maybe it comes from having to live, you know, just in the middle of so many people, and there's so much chaos. And I think you just have to have a sense of calm to even, kind of exist in our country and survive. So because there's just a lot going on, right?
Huh.
So I think it's just something that you grow up with, and yeah, I know a lot of people like that. Yeah. But I think it's a reflection of the culture and the environment that we kind of live in and grow up in.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing because here, I grew up in New York, and as you can see, I can talk a lot. But I have all this energy, and I've always had it. I've never done drugs. I've never tried a cigarette. I don't really. I've just always been driven to live.
Yeah, I
I've
can
all
I can see the energy in some of the pictures. I saw a couple of the pictures of you jumping out the back from the, I think, off the drum riser, right?
Yeah. I get up there pretty high. My wife's always like, "You're gonna kill yourself." But I have this. I don't know if it's competitive. Like I wake up every day racing to go, like and coming in here to my studio every day to try to write the best song I've ever heard with whoever the artist is or by myself. But I can tell you, nothing in the world feels
Yeah,
better than that.
yeah,
Right. And so it's the same with the next song. It's like, I know there's some big something waiting for me, and we just need a little more patience. And by the way, the beautiful thing is the some big something, the reward is you get to do it another day. That's
absolutely.
the
Yeah,
reward.
yeah,
Now it'd be wonderful. I would love for to be called to your country to play because people want to hear it. I would love it. But man, if I fixate on that, I would wind up killing myself. So
yeah,
you can't fixate on it. If it happens, great. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to pander to anything to make it happen.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand. The other thing I wanted to talk about with the single itself was the music video. Right? I thought it was a great video. It had a retro vibe to it. I was wondering if, is the song also inspired by the 70s? In a sense, when it just seemed like it might have been a happier time, right? The 70s and the 80s.
Yeah, there's a so we're really all, when it comes to it, it's more like we're 80s, 90s, but the 70s represent, there was a finesse to it. And so we made the record in Laurel Canyon, in LA mostly.
Hmm.
I have a studio in Laurel Canyon. And the house was built by an old actor, Mickey Rooney. And then Rick James, the she's a very kinky girl. He owned the house. So there was all this. I heard Prince stayed there once. Like there was all this history in this house, but it's in the Laurel Canyon Hills where the Eagles, Fleetwood Mac, like that was really their whole place. And Mick Fleetwood is a friend of mine from Fleetwood Mac, and he plays drums on one of the songs on the record. And
Amazing.
there was something about them and their energy where we wanted that record. I wanted all of the rec on this record to feel like it floats in time, where you go, wait a minute, is that an old 70s song? Or is that and then you can hear like a certain 808 kick or something. You go, wait, no, that's a new song. Because the statement to that is when you hit 30 years old, usually the only music you listen to is the music you listened to before that. And you might get a few other things, but like what we're saying is Tom Petty's passed away. Fleetwood Mac isn't making a new record. The Eagles aren't the Eagles anymore because there's only one original member. And, so you don't have those groups. And then all of these hipster groups from Brooklyn, like The National, War on Drugs, Death Cab for Cutie, like all those groups, which I really like, they all like have a bit of 70s to them. They're all, sometimes it feels like they don't want to dig in all the way because it feels too like they'll feel old. And what we've done is we've taken those two worlds and pushed them together. And we're saying that why can't you have two kids and still find your favorite band? Why do you only have to listen to your kids' favorite bands? Why do I have to listen to Harry Styles, who I love? But why do I have to listen to Harry Styles because I found him from my kids? How about I tell my kids, have you heard The Whole Damn Mess?
Yeah.
And, and it feels like you can introduce them to something that still is new, but feels old also.
Yeah. And that holds good, even for people like us. I'm in my mid 40s, and I've discovered your band. I've discovered the National, who I really like also.
Yeah.
Great band, great band. So I think it's also about having an open mind, right? And you can kind of discover new music, and you can find new bands. But tell me a little bit about your songwriting process, Don. You spoke about being in the garden every day. How do you write? Do you sit down every day, or do things just come to you? Do ideas just come to you?
Both. I have a phone. My phone is full of voicemails of like, oh, no, 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 right? And then I do a thing. I mean, literally at this moment, I just wrote this song for a girl. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Emotion. I know. So it's like, see if I can get you over here to see it. So I'm in the middle of like writing this song.
Okay.
And today I came up with all this literally this morning. And right now I'm figuring out what my phrase is. But so like this stuff just, I have this love that I just come in and it comes out. I wrote a song. The last 2 days I had 2 songwriting sessions. Yesterday was with a girl from Greece, Katerine Duska, who is pretty wonderful. And in the morning, all I did was think of her, played a little of her music. We're going to FaceTime, right? And I just started having ideas. And they just somehow come. I'll go in the room and I'll start playing drums and I'll get a drum beat. And I'll be like, oh, this is interesting. Or I'll grab the bass, or I'll grab a keyboard or I have 150 guitars. I'll literally just grab an instrument and start noodling around.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it starts there. Other times it's like, having to get up and go pee. It hits me where I'm like, I got to get up right now.
And is it ever a reflection of things that are happening around you, or is it like sometimes emotion driven?
That's a good question. It's both. Sometimes I'm literally speaking to somebody or something that's just gone on. And other times it's a feeling, I get in a certain mood and something hits me. But it's the trick I've been doing is trying to when it's something specific, I'm trying to be either as specific as I can be, as detailed as I can be, or the opposite. And I'm trying to cloak it in an overall feeling and not really intimate what the thing I'm trying to say is. So then this way people can get it, and maybe one day it'll just sink in and they'll be like, oh, I know there's some big something waiting for me, and that's this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you don't always want to. You don't want to have to hit them on the head with it all the time.
yeah, yeah. That's amazing. So in the band, does everybody contribute to writing songs, or is it all just you?
Oh, it's a free for all. All four of us can write, perform, and produce the entire song. So I've never been in a band like this. I've always been in a band where I lead and I'm going to do the thing, and here's the songwriting. In this band, the reason why I love this band so much is because I may not even be the best singer in the band, and I'm the singer. I I don't know that maybe I'm not the best songwriter in the band, but I write songs in this band. Like, I get to be a fan of this band because I don't do everything in it. Whereas in the past, I couldn't really look at anything objectively because my DNA was all over it. In this band, my DNA is all over it, but I could be a fan because everybody can do everything. So what we all do is someone comes up with an idea, the four of us write it. We all play, like I might play drums, I might play bass, and then sometimes we'll replace it with Mick Fleetwood, or we won't. And then sometimes I produce the song. And when I say produce, we all four produce it, but like I'm final say on this song. And then Greg will be final say on this one, and Todd. And so there's this real fun where you get to exercise being really in a band as opposed to being a tyrant. I love the Counting Crows, but you know who's running the Counting Crows? Adam Duritz. There's no one, you get to have an opinion if he gives it to you, and that's not an insult. He's in a band with amazing musicians, but in this band, we're a four-headed animal, and everyone gets to decide what direction we're going in at different points so that we at least keep going in a direction.
Yeah, but as long as it fits, I guess the WDM sound, right? You have an overall sound. It needs to fit.
You nailed it. I came up with this song that I loved so much for the band, and I brought it in. It was kind of like Mumford and Sons. I'm like, guys, I've got this song. And they're like, it doesn't fit us. I'm like, but no, it fits. So I just finished it, and Bob Clearmountain mixed it. And he was mixing the new Springsteen record and the Rolling Stones, and he was mixing mine with that, which was amazing. And that's it's going to have to be for a solo record.
Yeah, yeah. But has the sound of the band evolved over time, you think?
Oh, yeah. What it is, it just keeps getting more and more singular. The coolest thing about like the Rolling Stones or somebody is if I say the Rolling Stones to you and say, picture a song in your head, you'll picture a song. Now, if I go and play the Rolling Stones for you, I can defy that sound in your head a million times, because in your head, you're going, dun, 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 or you're going, I see the water and I want to paint it black. Whatever the thing is you're doing, I can go and give you 10 examples that aren't like it, but there's a DNA that gives you a sound that is the Rolling Stones. What we've done, WDM has figured out our DNA. So while we can do things outside of it, we have figured out what that sound is. And so what we keep doing is peeling back the onion, it feels like. As we're making songs, we just keep getting rid of the stuff that really is us trying to be something else. And it gets more and more singular. So the songs you're going to hear all sound related. It sounds like there's the mom, there's the dad, there's the brother. You might have a cousin, but you're
Mhm.
never getting the neighbor. The neighbor's not joining in on that album. Now, when we're done with this record cycle, we might go and reinvent ourselves like U2. And the next record will be a different thing, but our DNA will still be right in the middle of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's amazing for any artist. I think the quest is to kind of find your voice and find your DNA, right? That's the quest for any artist. But um, do people still listen to albums? In the age of streaming and all that, does it matter at all, or do you should just keep putting out singles? And what is your take on that?
I'm a little, look, I love the idea. The point of entry is pretty low. Everybody can get in. And there's something great about that, but it waters down people with real ideas. Um, you can have a song, which is a moment, or you can have an album, which is a career, it's a lifetime. Now, I get why our label and every other label wants you to release singles because in the world of streaming, we found this out with our Queen and the Outcast. I love the seventh track on the record, but no one gets to it because the attention span's so short. We're in a TikTok world. It's like, people don't even know that Paul Anka wrote "Put Your Head on My Shoulders," and it's getting a gazillion TikTok streams. People don't know that he wrote it. People don't even know there's another verse in the song because these kids are like, that's the whole song is 8 seconds to them. So
Yeah,
I get why we have to compete with that. But I think as an artist, to call yourself, that sounds pretentious, but so maybe it's the wrong way to say it. But I feel like as an artist, you release a body of work that is a testament
yeah,
to the time you're in. And then if you do that right, you can put that record here and do your next record that could be a different style. Like Lady Gaga still does it.
yeah,
She's like, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. Taylor Swift does it amazingly well. She's like, this is my pop period. Now this is my Lord period. This is whatever it is. And so the real artists do that. I love Justin Bieber, but I have no idea what song comes from what album because
yeah,
he just gets the best producers, which he's amazing at, best producers, best songwriters, and he's a great songwriter. And he makes whatever it is for the time. So it always sounds like a great representation of the time, but it's rare that he's leading the times. Whereas Harry Styles, the
yeah,
record really resonates because it felt like he took a chance on something. And that's why his bandmates, Liam and all those guys, they'll never have that success because they're chasing dollars and streams. He's chasing Fleetwood Mac. He's chasing legacies. And while you could make a lot of money if you're one little song, if you're little Nas X and you write,
yeah,
but that's a moment. You can't have a career. The difference between Carly Rae Jepsen, who wrote Call Me Maybe, great song, and Lord, who put out,
yeah,
Royals. The difference is Carly Rae Jepsen wrote a great song. Lord wrote a movement. And Lord can play 2,500 seat rooms the rest of her life if she doesn't do anything else. Carly Rae Jepsen cannot
yeah.
because
I see what you're saying.
she relies on radio to tell her she's relevant. Lord doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying. But tell me, Don, were you always a singer?
I've always been a bad singer. I'm not a very good singer. um, I was the guitar player in my band, and I always wrote songs and sang poorly. I'm not a great singer. I know that. And then I was 19. We were playing the biggest show to that point on Long Island in New York. And there were several hundred people in the room. And my singer didn't show up. And so he sang an octave higher than me. But we were standing there, and the guy said, if you don't go on now, you don't go on at all. And I was like, we're playing. So I said, hey, everybody, we used to be a 4-piece. And I started playing and I sang. Right when I was done with that, I decided I wanted to be the singer. I wanted to sing my own lyrics. You know, I wanted to be the one doing that. Whether I was better than him or not, it didn't matter. I just felt like I wanted to convey it. I wanted to get it across. So that's what I've wound up doing.
But does that ever play in your head that, maybe, either that people are judging you, or maybe just that I'm not good enough as a singer? Does it ever play in your head?
Every day.
How do you do it? Because I know you guys went on tour with ZZ Top and with Cheap Trick, right?
Cheap Trick, yeah.
Was it ever intimidating for you to be on stage thinking these guys are, and Mick Fleetwood is playing drums, right?
Right. Well, my parents did a good job of helping me never back down. I don't ever feel intimidated by the moment. But the thing that I wind up doing is giving it my all, because I also I know I'm not a great singer. I wish I could do more. My head, it's also, when I'm not looking in a mirror, I think I'm pretty good looking. And then I look in a mirror, I'm like, that's who I am? That's not what I thought. So, the truth of that is that I'm not the singer I wish I was. So I do get, I have second doubts all the time. I always think like, why are these guys letting me be the singer in this band? One of the songs, we just finished another one called Getting Closer. And the whole intro, the whole first verse, Greg kept saying, I don't think you got it right yet. And I was so frustrated because I was like, do you just want to sing it? Is that what you're really saying? And you don't want to say it. So you're like making me feel bad about myself. So I have to overcome that. And I do that. And that's part of, wisdom and age help you figure out that, like, get over it. I didn't grow up looking like Brad Pitt, and I don't sing like Steve Perry. Like, what am I going to do? And so you got to work with what you were given.
With what you have, yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like being on tour with ZZ Top? I did some work with them, and I was with Billy in London when we were doing Supersonic Blues Machine. Incredible.
What did you think? What did you think of him?
His humility, amazing. He was just so chilled out. It's one of those moments when you meet your heroes, right? And sometimes you're like, I wish I'd never met him. But, in Billy's case, it was like, I couldn't believe it was Billy Gibbons. And he was just like hanging out like just anybody else.
He is such a good guy. I'll send him a text and he'll send me a text right back. Like, he doesn't have to do that.
Yeah. He sent me an email saying, I really like your work, and I've kept that. I'm like, wow.
You know what? I have a whole theory about all of that, which I know I've kept you way longer than I should.
No, that's okay. So. That's okay. Go ahead.
It was affirming doing that tour. It was affirming because I don't think any band is better than us live. Now, I get to say that because, like I said, on stage, I'm only one of 6. And so as a fan, now, as singers, Robin Zander beats the hell out of me every night. I wish I could sing like him. Billy understands his voice so well, and he's got a terrible voice, but he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
and you feel it. He gives you everything he has, and they taught me a bunch in that tour, because Cheap Trick, they were heroes of my uncles, and so they became heroes of mine. The fact that I got to do shows with those two bands together and have them know my name and speak to me, and after shows say, my God, you were really great. Your band is really great. Like, that's mind blowing.
Yeah.
And then Billy, we'd get into a town and Billy would text me on my bus and say, meet me at catering, or meet me at stage, meet me stage left in the Guitar World. And it's Billy Gibbons. It doesn't matter that it's 10 in the morning, 9 in the morning. You go run over to Guitar World. He's still in his pajamas, walking around with a coffee, and he wants to just talk to you about guitars and show you his world and what's like. He's so generous of spirit, so generous of like that's what your leaders should be. And they're passing on the baton of humility, of like community. And the same with Cheap Trick. Every night, Cheap Trick, Rick, because his son was playing drums with us on this tour. Rick would come back, we'd be side stage, and he'd be talking to us while they're on stage, throwing picks at us, and then he'd go, come on out. And I'd go out and I'd sing Surrender, and it would blow my mind. Like,
amazing.
This isn't even real. Like, this, I shouldn't be allowed to do this. I'm harmonizing with Rick Nielsen, and then I'm holding his guitars.
Wow.
Like, mind blowing. And what the difference is this. I am sure he's different. I'm sure both of these guys are different now. So I'm going to insult two people, and I don't mean to, because it's maybe when they were younger. I've done some shows with Maroon 5, and I did some stuff with Train. Both of those singers were so disappointing. They were so greedy with their little piece of spotlight and so afraid you were going to take something from them that they couldn't be generous. And it's a shame, because they're probably both different now as they've gotten older. And it's funny, we got both of them right when they were having that little lull in the middle of their career. Both of them were in that spot. And what they didn't know is that I would have been a great ally to both of them. So they couldn't do it. But then I'm friends with Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins. Billy, or Mick Fleetwood, or Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam, Tom Morello, they could not be nicer. You know why? They're not afraid of you taking anything from them.
Yeah.
Like this mindset that like Maroon 5 and Train had at the time was that somehow you were trying to get in there, whatever that was. Whereas these legends, you're not getting, they understand you can't get in their space.
Yeah, there's no insecurity. Absolutely. And you're right.
They might have insecurity with each other, like
true.
Like Eddie and like Billy might be, I don't know, probably not those two, but there's probably like some levels where they're insecure, but they're not hoarding this unseen celebrity that like you're going to take something, the spotlight, they don't have to hold it.
Yeah. You collect guitars as well. I've read somewhere that you had one of Jimi Hendrix's guitars.
I do. You want to see it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'll grab it. Give me 1 second. This might be the longest interview I've done in a long time, by the way.
Wow.
This is Jimmy's.
That's a
See.
Wow, that's amazing.
So you see where the burn marks are?
Yeah, yeah.
What's great about this, if you look at the back of the neck, look from his hands.
Amazing.
Here's his belt, like you can see where the belt.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Incredible.
Here, you can see here, because he used to put the guitar the other way, right? So if you look at all the scratches are here because he was playing it
Oh,
here.
yeah, yeah. Wow.
So it's amazing.
Amazing.
You smell it. Yeah, this was when he was played with the Isley Brothers and Little Richard. The cool thing about this guitar is I met his brother, Leon, about 2 years ago. He came to my studio and he was all solemn holding the guitar. But what I like to say is this is the guitar that Jimmy dreamed on, because if you Google jazz master Jimi Hendrix, you'll see him looking very much like James Hendrix, and he's playing music for the white man, you know, and he's this. And then you see the guitar and you see him 2 years later and he's Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
And his hair's like this and he's like,
and the afro,
you know,
and all that. Yeah, yeah.
And I just feel like this is the guitar he dreamed in.
Amazing.
Yeah, like that right there. There's a whole sorry, there's a light behind me, but there's
Yeah,
a little,
I can see that. Yeah. Amazing.
now that's from his belt. That big belt that he would wear. Like I use this all of the time.
Oh, you do? Wow.
Bring it all the time. I brought it on that tour and Billy had it and Rick had it. Pearl Jam's had it on stage. Max Box 20's had it on stage. Boys to Men, friends of mine, they've had it on stage. Candlebox, bunch of friends.
Amazing. Tell me, Don, what else do you do outside of music?
I play with my kids, my wife. I do a lot. I have a lot of businesses that I'm part of, like clothing lines. What I like to do is help people dream big.
Yeah.
You know, so if they have a good idea and I can help with it, I like to help with it. But I'm getting better about, I'm getting stingier with my time because there's only so much of it. And so I'm doing less of those things and more of just what I love.
Amazing. Don, last question before I let you go. You know, how does a band today deal with the fact that people don't really pay for music? How do you know, how does a band deal with that?
It's hard. Like we're missing out on some really wonderful music because, and that's why it's getting so much younger, because when you live at home with your parents and you can make music in your bedroom and put it out, there are no stakes. Like you don't have to feed your family because your mom and dad are feeding you. Or you live with 8 roommates and it doesn't matter and everyone, you know, so it's hard. You have to play live. I have all my friends, COVID destroyed them because they couldn't be out playing live. And the only way they were able to pay their bills was by playing music live. And that's how music's meant to be heard, you know, we face to face, but it's also meant to be heard here. And it'd be wonderful if there was a better way to put money in the pocket of the musicians. But I don't hate streaming at all. I love albums, but I don't hate the idea of streaming because I want everyone to get access. I just want to level the playing field of how the money is distributed and how it can be fair for the consumer and also the artist, because it was getting crazy when albums were costing, or CDs were $15, $18. And it's like people couldn't afford to maybe buy it. So I like the idea that there's a way to get in and get more. And we're cutting out the middleman, the record label, to some extent. But I have friends with 20 million streams of a song, and they're still eating ramen every day. You know, the 99-cent one from a convenience store.
Yeah.
Like they're still, they have all those streams, and it's not success. They can't make a living doing it. And so we treat music, first of all, ageism in music is unbelievable. If you're a journalist, if you're a photographer, if you're a writer, an artist, you are celebrated getting older. If you're a musician, it's like somehow you got the cooties, when the truth of that is, I'm better than the 20-year-old version of me. The problem is when you have life and other responsibilities, musicians take their eye off the ball too. That's why maybe you don't hear a new Rolling Stones song that you think is as good as when they were desperate for it. So I try to live my life like I'm always desperate for it, so that I can write things that I think are great. But we have to go and find other ways to make music. It sucks. I mean, get paid for it. It sucks, but I love streaming. I use streaming. I just wish that it was a way that people could at least survive.
Yeah. Anyway, Don, thank you so much. This has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And I really hope you email me and I'll send you that music. Find me on Instagram, please, please, please. And then let's get your country to want us to come play. We'll come play anytime.
Yeah, I'll email you, don@miggs.com, right?
That's it.
I'll email you right away. And I think I already follow you on Instagram, but I'll send you a DM.
All right.
I'm the concert photographer on Instagram, so I'll send you a DM right away.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Don. Have a good weekend.
You take care.
Bye.
Thanks for listening.
Cheers. Bye.